Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you another found footage horror review, and today I'm taking a look at the 2024 found footage film Missing Couple. The film is co-written and directed by Jacques Edline and Oliver Moulding, and it stars Austin Jenkins and Jenna Jenkins. Now, Austin and Jenna, which is their character names as well, essentially, they are a couple that have got an online presence. They've got like camper van life thing going on. They've been doing that for a couple of years. They decide they've had enough of that, so they choose to buy this property. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it's got a lot of land, it's got a little cabin right in the middle of it. It looks like a bit of a paradise for them, really. And it's in Mississippi, I think. So they go there, they start living this idyllic life, or so they think. However, it starts turning sour very, very quickly. And essentially they end up going missing. So alongside that, somebody that knows Austin and Jenna decides he's going to do his own investigation, head out there and try and figure out what happened to them by going to the location, searching through any camera footage that he can find in order to piece together what happened. What he discovers is something that he wished he hadn't. Right, what are my thoughts on Missing Couple? Well, this is classic found footage. The whole concept of this. I'd heard of this one before. This is another one that's kind of popped up on my radar from, the found footage group that I'm a part of, sort of thing. So I'd heard of it, but I'd never really got around to checking this one out. A lot of people kind of quite like this one, so I thought, well, I'll give this one a go. And while I do think it's, in some aspects, it follows the blueprint and the formula for found footage very strictly at times, I think ultimately, for me anyway, it failed to deliver on scares and thrills and, that whole edge of the seat, hairs on the back of your neck standing out sort of thing that you get with, real top-notch found footage films. But it does have quite a lot going for it, this one. It ticks a lot of those boxes that you expect in a found footage film. It's got believability. You believe this couple. You believe this is what they do. You believe they are a couple. And looking at the cast list, they must be a couple. So that chemistry was there, which is very, very good. It helps for the film. And then, it's got the slow burn and the slow build to the danger that is rising, sort of thing. You've got this whole mystery of the land that they're on. It's got quite a dark past that they start investigating in the local town. They discover that there was probably, there was a lot of deaths that took place in this location. So it's definitely got a dark past. And that's where they start noticing that, they're being watched, sort of thing. But you're not really sure who it is or why it's happening, that kind of stuff. So what it does, and I think it does well too, is it tells two stories simultaneously. So you've got this couple, and we see their story, through kind of footage that this chap finds who's going out and investigating. And then you've got his own footage of him doing the investigating, determined to find out what's happened to them. So it runs parallel, and it does quite well. Now, ultimately, I think as well, this has a pretty clever twist to it that I didn't see coming, and I'm not going to spoil it in case you haven't seen it. But it kind of shows you one thing and then gives you another thing later. That like the revelation of kind of why the couple went out there to do what they've done. And why this chap, if you like, comes looking for them to try and find out what's happened to them. I thought that was very nicely done, and it worked for the film. But they almost like show the hand too much, because at the end of the film, you'll either take it as a positive or a negative to the conclusion of the film. Is it one thing? Is it something supernatural? Is it some human factor that has been doing all these things? Or is it something else that might be related to why this couple has gone out there? And I know I'm not being particularly clear there. It's only because I don't want to spoil things. I left with a very clear thought of what I thought had happened. But if you like, the film didn't confirm that. And sometimes when a film finishes and it kind of leaves the answer kind of dangling in the air, I don't mind that sometimes. But sometimes I think films need a little bit of a more concrete conclusion, or a hint at a concrete conclusion. And this is one of those where you kind of like, you're kind of at the edge, you see it and you kind of watch it and you're kind of thinking, ooh, right, okay. And then the screen goes black and it's done. And you're like, oh no. Because you wanted more, you wanted to know more, and it doesn't give it. So I found it a little bit frustrating, the ending. I know what I thought happened, but there were other potential answers. It does hint at supernatural things. It also hints at human elements. And it also hints at what I thought the ending was. So, yeah, I think it's got some interesting, clever writing going on for it. I think if they'd have just cranked this one up in regards to the fear factor, and the terror and the scares, I think they really could have done that at the end. Really turned the screw, and really, scared us. I mean, it's a perfect location for it. They spent the whole film telling this story of, this dark past of this camp or this area where they live. And then, there's all these wonderful opportunities. There's like tunnels, wooded areas, lakes. I mean, they've got all these classic areas to kind of, pull the trigger and give you some real found footage scares, and I feel like at times it was a bit of a missed opportunity in that sense. I think they were too focused on giving this vague ending sort of thing, that they didn't want to kind of go too heavily down one particular route, I guess. But I didn't dislike this by any stretch of the imagination. I did think it was clever. I liked the twist that it gave us. I didn't see that coming, and I thought it was very, very well done. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you've seen #MissingCouple, what you thought of it. And I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.